Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, the topic of our today's discussion is poliomyelitis, which is a communicable intestinal infection, and in short form, it is commonly known as polio. Polio is an acute viral infection caused by an RNA virus. It is primarily a disease of gastrointestinal tract. However, in 1% of the cases, it affects the CNS and which results in varying degrees of paralysis and possibly death. Dear students, first of all, we will discuss the few historical facts of polio. In the pre-vaccination era, poliovirus was used to be found in all countries of the world. Then in 1988, World Health Assembly adopted the resolution for the global eradication of polio. This resolution marked the launch of Global Polio Eradication Initiative, which was initially headed by the national governments, World Health Organization, United States Center for Disease Control and Prevention, UNICEF, and then later it was joined by many other NGOs. In 1994, Americas was the first region to be announced as polio-free region. Then it was followed by in 2000, Western Pacific region was certified as polio-free. Then in 2002, Europe was certified as polio-free. And in 2014, Southeast Asia region was also certified as polio-free. This led to a significant drop in the number of polio cases, and with this 80% of the world population is now living in the certified polio-free regions. From 2014 and onwards, only there are 3 countries in the world where polio is still endemic. And these countries are Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Nigeria, where unfortunately polio is still present in the endemic form. Now we will discuss the epidemiological determinants of polio. First of all, agent factors. Agent is a RNA virus known as poliovirus. It got 3 serotypes, 1, 2, and 3. Most outbreaks of paralytic polio they are caused by serotype 1. Transmission is via fecal-oral route. In cold environment, virus survives in water for 4 months and in feces for 6 months. Reservoir of infection. Man is the only known reservoir of infection. Most infections they are subclinical and mild. It is the subclinical and mild infection which play a major role in the spread of infection. Infectious material virus is found in the feces and oropharyngeal secretions. The period of communicability is 7 to 10 days before and after the onset of symptoms. In feces, the virus is excreted commonly for 2 to 3 weeks and sometimes it may be excreted in feces as long as 3 to 4 months. Now we will discuss the host factors. First of all, age. Polio disease occurs in all age groups, but children they are generally more susceptible than the adult population because of the acquired immunity of the adult population. Polio is essentially a disease of infancy and childhood. About 50% of the cases they are reported in infancy. The most vulnerable age is basically between 6 months to 3 years. Sex. For every 1 female affected, there are 3 cases of male. There are different risk factors which include fatigue, trauma, intramuscular injections, and operative procedures, which puts a person at risk of infection with poliovirus. Immunity. Maternal antibodies gradually decline during the first 6 months of life. Immunity following infection is fairly solid. However, it does not protect you against reinfection with the other virus types. Means there is no cross protection. if you get infection with one virus type, it does not give you protection against the other virus type. Now we will discuss the environmental factors which are linked with the spread of polio. Polio is more likely to occur during the rainy season, that is during the months of June to September, which is also known as the monsoon season in Pakistan. Environmental sources of infection, they can be contaminated food, water, and flies. Poliovirus, as already told, survives for a long time in a cold environment. Overcrowding and poor sanitation, they provide opportunities for spread to infection. The virus spreads mainly via two routes, fecal-oral route and the droplet infection. The infection may spread directly through the contaminated fingers when the personal hygiene is poor, or indirectly through contaminated water, milk, food, or via flies. Droplet infection may occur in the acute phase of the disease when the virus is present in the throat. The incubation period of the disease varies, but generally it is from 7 to 14 days. The range is 3 to 35 days. There are four different clinical spectrum of polio infection. These are subclinical or inapparent infection, abortive polio, also known as minor illness, number 3 non-paralytic polio, and number 4 paralytic polio. Subclinical or inapparent infection accounts for 95% of the polio infections. No presenting symptoms are there, and the recognition is only by virus isolation or rising antibody titers. Abortive polio, also known as minor illness, occurs in about 4 to 8% of the cases. It causes only mild or self-limiting disease, and the patient recovers. Clinically, the diagnosis cannot be made. Recognition is only by virus isolation or rising antibody titers. Non-paralytic polio. It occurs in only 1% of the cases. There is stiffness. There is stiffness and pain in the neck and back, and the recovery is rapid. Paralytic polio. Paralytic polio occurs in less than 1% of the infections. The virus invades the CNS and it causes various degrees of paralysis. The predominant sign is basically the asymmetrical flaccid paralysis. History of fever at the time of onset of paralysis is suggestive of polio. The other associated symptoms include malaise, anorexia, nausea, vomiting, headache, sore throat, constipation, abdominal pain, and signs of meningeal irritation, that is stiffness of neck and back muscles. Tripod sign may be present. Tripod sign, basically in it the child finds difficulty in sitting, and it sits by supporting hands at the back and by partially flexing the hip and the knees. Progression of paralysis basically reaches to maximum in less than 4 days. Generally, it may take around 4 to 7 days. This paralysis is characterized as descending, that is, it starts at the hips and then moving down to the distal parts. The deep tendon reflexes, they are diminished, however, there is no sensory loss. Respiratory insufficiency is dangerous and is generally the cause of death. The atrophy of the affected muscles lead to a life with residual paralysis, which is typical and relatively easily to identify as poliomyelitis. This slide is showing you the time course of events in case of infection with poliovirus. There is no specific treatment available for the polio. However, the supportive treatment includes good nursing care, non-narcotic analgesics, hydration, and proper nutrition, respiratory support, and physiotherapy. Physiotherapy is very important. It can be initiated in the affected limb immediately. It helps the weakened muscle to regain the strength. Polio, polio can only be prevented by immunization. Prevention of polio is by immunization. Immunization provides an effective means of preventing poliomyelitis. Both live attenuated vaccine and the killed vaccines that are available, both are safe. It is essential to immunize all the infants by the age of 6 months. Oral polio vaccine, also known as OPV, Sabin, easy to give, cheaper, it is more effective, and it produces both intestinal and systemic immunity. IPV, injectable polio vaccine. It is costly, it is given parenterally, it produces only systemic immunity, and it requires trained persons for its administration. This table is showing you the differences between IPV and OPV. OPV and IPV both are included in the EPI schedule of immunization. OPV is given at the age of 6, 10 and 14 weeks of age orally, and IPV is given only at the age of 14 weeks of age. IPV is a killed virus vaccine. OPV is a live attenuated vaccine. IPV is given either intramuscularly or subcutaneously, while OPV is given orally. IPV produces systemic immunity but no local intestinal immunity, while OPV produces both intestinal and the systemic immunity. Unfortunately, Pakistan is among the 3 countries of the world where polio is still endemic. Dear students, Pakistan has a long history of battle against polio. Polio immunization was started in 1974 in Pakistan. However, its eradication efforts officially started in 1994. Intensive eradication campaigns such as door-to-door vaccination campaigns only started after 1999. These eradication efforts reduced the incidence of the disease. The case numbers of the disease have declined by up to 99% from 20,000 cases that were reported in the early 1990s to 147 cases in 2019. But still, unfortunately, polio is still endemic in Pakistan, and Pakistan was informally labeled as an exporter of polio. This table is showing you the number of cases of polio, province-wise and year-wise. As you can see from this table, the majority of the polio cases they are being detected in Sindh, KPK and Balochistan. And for the last 2 years, no cases were detected from Gilgit-Baltistan, Azad Jammu and Kashmir and from Islamabad. In the past, a number of factors they affected the eradication efforts of polio, and few of these factors they are still into play and affecting the eradication efforts of polio. These factors include opposition from clerics, failure to vaccinate, drone attacks, violence against polio workers, Pakistan Army operation in FATA, and internally displaced people, and vaccine failure. Now in the coming slides, we will discuss each of these factors in detail. Clerics issued sharp censure, calling the drops haram and part of the larger American conspiracy to sterilize the Muslim population. There were a number of parents on different occasions who refused to get their children vaccinated, especially parents belonging to rural areas from FATA and from KPK. In 2005, the number of polio cases were brought down to only 29 with the continuous efforts of the health worker and the support of government of Pakistan. and the hopes were very high that the soon Pakistan will become a polio-free country. But the drone attacks in the FATA and the rise of different militant groups as a reaction of the drone attacks in FATA made it difficult for the health workers to continue their vaccination campaigns in these areas, and the health workers faced violence in these areas. Polio health workers faced great violence few years ago, and even in the recent years, occasional cases of violence occurred against them. In 2013, there were 29 attacks. There were 29 attacks against polio workers, killing 22 people. And in 2014, there have been 20 attacks on polio workers in Pakistan that killed 32 people. In 2009, Pakistan Army started Operation Rahe-Nijat in South Waziristan, and in 2014, Zarb-e-Azab in North Waziristan to eliminate the TTP militants from FATA. As a result of these army operations, millions of people migrated to the internally displaced persons camps and also settled in different areas like Peshawar, Bannu, Dera Ismail Khan districts. This resulted in the spread of polio virus from the FATA to the other areas of Pakistan, and also it resulted in large number of children who remain unvaccinated. Vaccine failure also resulted in a large number of cases of polio. It is found that a large number of confirmed polio cases in Pakistan involved children who had been administered multiple polio doses. According to National Institute of Health, it was discovered that around 78% of the confirmed polio cases in Pakistan they involved children who were administered multiple doses of polio. Oral polio vaccine is quite temperature sensitive. It is recommended that OPV should be stored at -20 degrees centigrade, but certain vaccine brands can remain effective between the temperature of 2 to 8 degrees centigrade. As the rural areas of Pakistan, they occasionally suffer from regular load shedding of long hours. This can affect the storage of OPV and which makes the vaccine ineffective. Unfortunately, in different areas, especially in KPK and FATA, mistrust and suspicion behind the real agenda of immunization campaigns, they stem from multiple roots. Local leaders, they exert a great influence on people is one of the major reasons, and also the lack of understanding of the implications on the children well-being is another factor. In order to make the polio eradication efforts more fruitful, we need to take the tribal leaders on board and involve them in the campaigns. Through proper advertisements and effective public relations, all the misconceptions about the vaccine should be minimized, and we should take the input of all the concerned stakeholders and entities that can influence and facilitate the journey towards a polio-free Pakistan. Dear students, inshallah, polio-free Pakistan will soon become the reality. This concludes our today's lecture. Thank you very much.